A lot of chiropractors, because of their lack of self-worth and understanding of the power that resides within them, resort to a lot of other things to do in their clinics to make money, which dilutes the power that chiropractic has and the power that chiropractor has to go out into their community to educate their community to the benefit of subluxation removal. And as you alluded to earlier, there's chiropractic colleges that you can go to that you can come out and you don't even know how to adjust. The chiropractors, when I talk about, you didn't come here to shrink. You came here to shine. You didn't come here to subordinate. You came here to stand on the shoulders of the greats that came before us to take chiropractic to its rightful place.
Welcome to the Vitalistic Voice. My name is Dr. Colin Elkin. I am so thrilled today because I do this podcast for an intentional reason, and that is really to bring awareness to the chiropractic profession from a chiropractic principle, from a vitalistic standpoint. I grew up in a model and I practiced in a model that was very subluxation based, and I love the principle of chiropractic. It has permeated my soul, and I see what it does to patients when they understand the principle of chiropractic. So I love talking about chiropractic from that perspective. And the second thing is I love talking to people who are doing big things in the chiropractic profession to bring this principle to the masses. And my guest today is a perfect example of that. Dr. David Scheiner, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm equally as excited. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it certainly is my pleasure. So, I'd love to get started. I always like to know when people that I speak with have done such big things in the profession and are really advancing the chiropractic profession, especially in a vitalistic model. I love to know how that all started. How did you get introduced to chiropractic when you were younger? What made you follow a chiropractic career?
It started when I was real young. My mom introduced me to very spiritual practices, Native American concepts. At around 11, 12 years old, she started handing me some spiritual personal growth books. She was way ahead of her time. And so I always was looking for something where I was going to be able to be at a high level of service for humanity and to help people in a grand fashion. And when I graduated from university and started working at a nursing home on Long Island in New York, somebody suggested that I go see a chiropractor. And I said, why? I have no pain. And they said, well, my chiropractor said you don't have to have pain to be a candidate for chiropractic care. I said, oh, that sounds cool. And they proceeded to tell me, well, you're a high level baseball player. It could help your baseball game and your performance. I went to the chiropractor. He adjusted me. His name was Tony from New York. Go figure, Tony. And as they say, the rest is history, although this still has a longer story with it. And I'll give you the shorter version, which is he gave me my first adjustment. Things really opened up for me on more than a physical level, very spiritual level. And I said, huh, there's something here. Tony, what did you just do to me? He said, if you want to know what I just did for you, not to you, come back next Thursday night to my new patient orientation health class. I said, you're what? And he's like, oh, forget about it. Just come back next Thursday night. And I did. And it was in that hour and a half talk where he broke down all the chiropractic philosophy and the principles and the spirituality behind how the profession was started by D.D. Palmer. And when the class was over, I asked him, how do I become what you do?
Wow. Wow. What an amazing start. And I hear this so often. I'm still amazed by it on the influence that people have when they start talking about chiropractic principles and how that literally changes lives, not just for patients seeking some sort of health change, but for people looking to serve in the world, So that's incredible. So now you're in Atlanta now. How did you get from New York? Where'd you go to chiropractic college, first of all? And then did you practice for a while before you're doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, so Tony answered my question, how do I become what you do? With, well, we have a chiropractic college 5 minutes from where we live on Long Island because New York Chiropractic College was there at the time. He said, or if you really enjoy what I was talking about tonight, there's a college down in Atlanta, Life Chiropractic College. And I think you belong there because the president and founder is in his prime. It was the early 1990s, Dr. Sid Williams. And I made my way to Georgia, like the song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I made my way down to Georgia. I wasn't looking for a soul to steal. I was looking for spines to check. And graduated in 1996, opened up one practice every 4 years, over 16 years. I had four clinics. Did a lot of corporate marketing, went into Delta Airlines, GE, the Home Depot, Colgate Palmolive, the Weather Channel, UPS, all these different corporations, and did corporate talks, filled the clinics up with employees from those major companies. We had a great run, great time. And then the universe spoke to me. To answer your question, the universe spoke to me again, similar to in 1992 in Tony's office, where chiropractic found me. I wasn't looking for it. Innate intelligence spoke to me again in 2012 and said, instead of continuing to build chiropractic practices, it's time for you to help the profession by building chiropractic colleges with more students. So I started working with Brian Kelly at Life West in 2012, and together we grew the enrollment significantly. And then in 2023, when I stepped away from Life West, I had the most fortunate opportunity to align with the New Zealand College of Chiropractic, and I'm covering all of North America, your beautiful country, of Canada, and all of the United States to recruit students over to New Zealand because we both know, Colin, that we have a shortage of chiropractors. We're not replacing the chiropractors that are retiring and passing away fast enough. So that's my mission, which is my purpose, and that is to find the next chiropractor.
This is, I'm glad you opened this door here because this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I just feel for the chiropractic profession to succeed and serve the world like the way that we as chiropractors feel it could serve the world, we do need more chiropractors. It's not a competition thing, it's not a competitive thing. There's such an underutilization of chiropractic in the world. So let me ask you, so now that you're recruiting students for New Zealand Chiropractic College, where do you see what are the biggest challenges in getting that word out there to people and getting students to say, yes, this is something that I want to do?
It's a great question. And one of the challenges is that these high school, college, and university students don't think of chiropractic as an option in a career because it's not something that's exposed and offered to them. Because most students are looking to follow the road most traveled. And the road most traveled is what the university advisors that they have in those kinesiology and exercise science and human and health performance departments give them the options of physical therapy, kinesiology career, medical doctor, etc. So we've made a lot of inroads since 2012 and beyond, where we've gone into these departments and met with these college officials. And they said, oh, we never really thought of chiropractic as an option for our students. Thank you so much. We want to expose them to everything that they can think of as an option. So now more students are looking at chiropractic as an option. More chiropractors are exposing their patients and their children. And you were at a meeting of ours in Ontario as an option. However, one of the other challenges that we find, not only with university students and high school students, but people of all ages, is that they don't know what their purpose is that they came to the planet to bring to life. Because most people want their gift to be what somebody else's gift is. And I tell them when I speak from the stage in chiropractic conferences, and also university classrooms is it's really important while you're here to identify your own gift. And the way you do that is simple. Your gift is simple to know. It's the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. Therefore, start looking at what you're uniquely talented at. So that's been a huge challenge is helping these students to go within instead of living an externally driven life and exposing them to go within like we do in chiropractic and we tell our patients and figure out who you came here to be for the world.
Yeah, that's what great advice that is for people. And I can speak from experience because I was a kinesiology major, back in university, and I knew I wanted to do something after university. I knew that this wasn't it when I got out of university, and I know some of my friends and classmates were looking at going into pharmaceutical sales, and that was a pretty good gig because you could get a pretty good salary and a company car right off the bat. That was very attractive for a fourth year university student who was 21, 22 years old. And then some were considering med school, and I considered that. And others were considering teachers college. And it was actually by accident that a few of my friends said, "Hey, we're considering going to chiropractic school. Why don't we look into it?" I looked into it. CMCC at the time was so congested with applications for chiropractic school. In fact, I remember statistically hearing that there were 3,500 applicants for 150 places per year, and they only accepted people once per year, and that was in September, which is part of the and a little side note, I did talk to Kelly Holt about my vision, my mission is to see another college planted here in Canada. And so his eyes lit up when I said that. And in fact, we both agreed that Calgary is a good place for that. So, however, that's a side note. That might come up later in the conversation. But it was interesting because we actually did a road trip down to the National College of Chiropractic. And once I started understanding what chiropractic was, all of a sudden it's like my lights turned on. It was something that this is definitely, and as you say, when you get exposed to it and you hear the principle of chiropractic, it permeates you. It really does give you that purpose that you're talking about. So long prelude to my question here, but my question is, so how what are the best strategies for you now to help get that message to potential students? Are you talking to different universities and colleges and trying to go speak at those universities and colleges?
Well, I have no problem divulging all of these wonderful secrets to you because if there's other people that end up listening to this from other chiropractic college recruitment departments, I want them to understand all of this stuff really well so they can go out and spread this message because we need more chiropractors. I'm partly joking because I highly doubt they'll be one of those people that listen to this, but you never know. It would be great if they do. So, yes, what you just said, going out to major colleges and universities, to these departments whose students are studying the body, speaking in these large classrooms, which is an amazing opportunity, exposing high school, college, and university students to the chiropractic option. And one of the things that's most unique about the New Zealand College of Chiropractic is that we can take students right out of high school to come and study with us because and we're the only program in the world that has a year one program of study of the science prerequisites. And when they complete that first year of study at New Zealand, they go right into year two, which is the year one of the DC program, the chiropractic program. So we do target high school students because when they graduate, they can come right over. And we're getting a lot of Canadians that are graduating high school and they're coming over and they're young and a lot of Chiro kids, as a matter of fact. And then the other thing is our alumni and our friends and supporters that understand the vitalistic philosophical founding principles of chiropractic that we adhere to in New Zealand and that we teach through the whole 4 year DC program. And those are really the main ways that we go about finding future students. And then, you know, domestically in New Zealand, we have these open days. So a lot of New Zealand high school and university students are coming to our open days and finding out about the program. And we do, as you know, career talks in just about every province in Canada. So we're sending out our information to the colleges and universities, to these different departments that we've already spoken about, to our alumni and DC supporters in all the different provinces. We'll register a nice amount of students and chiropractors and parents come, and we're filling these rooms. Like we had a full house where you were in March, and it was the same way on every stop. And Saskatoon to Halifax to Kelowna to Vancouver. So this is a mission that I have undertaken because I want to see the future of chiropractic so bright that we light up the entire planet and the cosmos with chiropractic.
Yeah. And I got to give you personally, I got to give you credit, David, because, and that was the first time we met was in March, but you do have such a gift and an eloquent way of talking about chiropractic and inspiring potential students about the benefit and the joy of going to New Zealand College of Chiropractic. So my question now is, now that you spent more than 10 years at Life West, and now you've been the last 2 to 3 years at New Zealand. What are some of the unique differences? Because I see your eyes light up when you talk about New Zealand and you talk about the benefit of living in Auckland area and just the experience of going down there. So what are some of the unique differences?
The unique differences in terms of what specifically?
Well, I'd love to hear because I know New Zealand is a very vitalistic, very principled based school, subluxation based teaching school. Life West is, to that matter as well. But what are some of the unique differences that a student would experience going down to New Zealand and doing their education there?
Yeah, well, there's so many, and I love that question. Let's start with the culture. The people are so friendly and welcoming and inviting. The food, the food is incredible. I was blown away when I first went and then went last year for the second time to the city of Auckland, which is so unique in so many different ways. The people, the food, the being surrounded by water and having the opportunity to take a ferry from Auckland, for example, to this island of it's not Davenport, it's Devonport. So like not Davenport, Iowa, Devonport, and going around and seeing the sheep. And so the country is amazing, number one. The college is so philosophically sound with adjusting and subluxation that I have not experienced, and I know all the colleges inside and out. I have not experienced another chiropractic college that is as on purpose and lit with the fire of original chiropractic. And I don't love that I have to say original chiropractic because it's gotten so tarnished in the teaching and the education and the practice of chiropractic that it is a breath of fresh air to be able to be someplace and learn what was given to us by D.D. Palmer and B.J. Palmer at its core, at the essence. And Reggie Gold, my greatest mentor, would go to the New Zealand College of Chiropractic every single year to speak at the homecoming. And he would come back and he would tell me, you gotta go check out the New Zealand College. And I'm like, why? He said, they have the philosophy. And there's many chiropractic colleges around the world. I cannot even count all fingers of one hand that have the philosophy as the core. And then it streamlines through every class. And we are the only in New Zealand chiropractic college that requires a minimum of 500 chiropractic adjustments in the outpatient health center. And we're going to be, as Kelly spoke that evening in Ontario that you were at, going to be raising it to a minimum of 750. adjustments minimum in the outpatient health center. What does that mean? What that means is not only are the students coming out, graduating, owning the principles of chiropractic, they're also coming out as master adjusters. Practice ready on Monday, and they just graduated on Friday. They can step into any clinic anywhere in the world. If they're opening up from scratch, they have that confidence in their hands and their hearts and their minds that they can be successful opening up a new practice. And if they're going to associate in a doctor's office anywhere, that chiropractor is actually looking for the New Zealand graduate right now, above every other chiropractic college, because they know what they're getting. The best adjusters in the world. And I've worked for several chiropractic colleges, including the one that you mentioned just a moment ago. And I can tell you there's a stark difference. And I will never put any chiropractic college under the bus. What I will accentuate is if somebody's looking to become a chiropractor, they ought to go to a chiropractic college, a place that is only teaching chiropractic, not anything else, where the focus is chiropractic all day, all night. Now, there could be some exceptions to what I just said, and there are, especially if the chiropractic program at a university is the key focal point of that institution, not just a little tentacle. So, for example, my alma mater here in Atlanta, Life University, that's an example of what I'm talking about. The chiropractic program is the focal point of the university. And they have some other programs, undergraduate and master's degrees, and they're small programs. And some of those undergrad programs are feeders into the chiropractic program. Great. We need more chiropractors.
Hmm.
I hope that answers your question about our New Zealand program and what is happening there.
Yeah, for sure. And I love, and I did do a podcast with Dr. Kelly and again, brilliant. And the fact that you as a college are so committed to those students coming out being master adjusters and owning the principle of chiropractic is huge. And from a personal note, my wife and I had a very high volume associate driven practice. We had multiple associates over the years, and it was a lot of fun, and we had such a wonderful time doing it. And we had the opportunity and the privilege of interviewing a lot of associates. And there were some associates that came in from different colleges who had never adjusted people before, never. And they
Yeah.
wanted to use tools or they wanted to use some other form of adjusting and couldn't adjust with their hands. And that was just not something that we did in our office. So that was really eye-opening to me to see that over those years. So to hear the process involved in a student graduating from New Zealand is really refreshing. So that's fantastic. I wanted to ask you, has there ever been any type of study? And this is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I think this would be brilliant to follow students after their graduation, whether it be from New Zealand or from other colleges, on their level of success, be it 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years into practice. Has there
Mhm.
ever been a study done like that?
I wouldn't say never, although there's not any that I know of. And I do know that there are some chiropractic colleges that reach out over the years to ask, how are you doing? How can we support you? And things of that nature, although not at the level that you're speaking about. That's a great idea.
Just something something that's been just turning around in my mind that I'd wonder if there was some sort of a statistic to define, a student graduating with good adjusting skills would have more success or less success, or is it equal to somebody graduating from a school that didn't have that same philosophical background or that same level of requirement to graduate
Hmm.
with the number of adjustments that they do? So yeah, so interesting. Yeah, I wanted to just let's divert a little bit because you had mentioned before we started here that you're also an author, and I'd love to hear about some of the books that you've written and the inspiration behind those.
So thank you. When I was at Chiropractic College here in Atlanta at Life between 1992 and 1996, And I always loved to write. So when I was younger, I wrote, and my mom said, "Oh, you should write a book someday." And she's passed for many years. She passed in 1997 at 51 years old. And when I was in chiropractic college, I started writing for the school newspaper. It was named Elan Vital, which is Vital Energy. And I was a writer of that publication. And I thought, well, who better than who better to learn from than some of these great masters that have come before me? So I started interviewing like Chuck River Ribley, Guy Reekman, and Donnie Epstein. This was as a student. I was learning so much from them. And then I got turned on to Wayne Dyer, the famous author and speaker. And I got in touch, and there was no internet back then. There was no cell phones. There was a telephone in the trailer that we worked at the school newspaper from. But I set an intention. I knew that I wanted to interview Wayne Dyer for the school newspaper at Life. Somehow I found his contact person. Somehow his contact person said, I will connect with Wayne because he loves chiropractic. And then his assistant got back to me and said, Wayne wants to do the interview for your school newspaper. He's heard about Life Chiropractic College. I said, fantastic. This was 1993, 1994. Did the interview with Wayne Dyer, graduated from Chiropractic College, and in 2008, that same voice spoke to me and said, you're to write this book where you're going to put all of these great people from the chiropractic profession in the book. So we have John DeMartini, Jerry Klum, Pasquale Sarasoli, Arno Bernier, Reggie, Sigafus, Jeannie Ohm, Claudia Onrig, etc. And Chiropractic Revealed came out in 2009. And somebody said to me, oh, were you inspired by Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich? Like accumulating all the. And I said, no, I hadn't even heard of that book up until that point. And then, of course, I got the book and read it and devoured it. And there's more to that story. However, at the end of interviewing them for Chiropractic Revealed, which is available on Amazon, by the way, it's all over the world. I mean, every major country. I interviewed them, and at the end, I asked them a series. I said, "We're done with the questions for Chiropractic Revealed. Now I have a series of questions for you to help chiropractors become more successful in life and in practice." Now I had all of this information in 2009, but it went 9 years before I put the 8 laws of chiropractic success together. And that's all of the same people from Chiropractic Revealed. And then I added another layer on top of them, such as Brad Glowacki, Billy DeMoss, Gilles Lamarche, who's our friend, and many, many, many more. And the foreword of the book, as you can see, was written by Wayne Dyer. Now, people ask me, how did you get Wayne Dyer to write the foreword for this book in 2018 when he passed away several years before that? And I said, well, interestingly enough, the universe had me ask him questions when I was in chiropractic college that fit perfectly with the theme of this book, The 8 Laws of Chiropractic Success. The questions that he answered in 1994 were meant to be for 2018. And he actually told me when we did the interview that someday you're probably going to write a book for the chiropractic profession, David, Wayne Dyer said. And this information that I just gave you would be perfect for that book. So, and then the book that I just came out with at the end of last year is Reggie Gold's Starting a Chiropractic Practice. It's a timeless approach to chiropractic success. It's all of Reggie's nuts and bolts of all of his philosophy is in there. And if you're a seasoned chiropractor looking to jumpstart your practice, if you're a student wanting to learn how to start a practice when you get out of school, or if you're a recent graduate, anybody as a chiropractor or student would benefit from starting a chiropractic practice. And all these books are available on Amazon. And I just spoke at KelJam in Kelowna a couple of weeks ago, Mark Fulong and Brian Biddle's event, which was just amazing. It was on the campus of UBCO in Kelowna, and I sold some books after I spoke, and these books will also be available when I speak at Big Lux. That'll come up in Vancouver, Palm Rise event, which is amazing in Vancouver, and then I'll be speaking at Pure and Powerful this fall, and I'll be speaking at the CNAC event as well. And so my books, I'll have some books there to sign for people. And I put these books, Colin, together, not for me. I put these books together for chiropractic. I put these books together for every chiropractic student to learn more about what chiropractic truly is about, how chiropractors can become more successful, how they can fall more deeply in love with chiropractic, how, if they have fallen out of love with chiropractic, they can fall back in love with chiropractic. And in actuality, I wrote this book with the intention of it being for the general public because it's written for the layperson to understand what true principle chiropractic is all about. It's also for the chiropractor and those looking to maybe find their purpose as a career in chiropractic. This has turned several hundred people that weren't even considering a career in chiropractic onto the idea. And then they said, oh, I have to do this.
That's amazing. That's, so you're obviously a very good communicator, whether
Thank
it
you.
be written or verbally. What's your favorite thing to do in the profession now? I mean, you're involved in a lot of different things. So what's your favorite thing to do?
My number one favorite thing to do in the profession is stand up on that stage and open my heart to connect with the other hearts of the chiropractors, the CAs, the prospective students in that room, to deliver a message of hope, a message of possibility, a message of promise that you are in the right place. I love standing on the stage. I spoke at our 30th anniversary Lyceum in New Zealand in September, and there were 500 people in the room. And being up there and being in front of everybody and having that heart to heart connection and delivering a message that's coming through me from above. Because I deliver messages from the stage somehow that the universe is flowing through me because it knows what the people in the room need to hear better than I do. So therefore, I'm a conduit to be spoken through. So that's my favorite thing right now. And along with it, having people take these books so they can be touched, moved, and inspired to put their hands on more people. And by them putting their hands on more people and growing their practices, it increases the percentage of their chiropractic patient community where they'll be able to now be able to have the opportunity to pluck one or two of them a year out and send them to chiropractic college.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, and I can see the joy when you talk about that. So, I want to ask you, so based on those skills that you've developed and your communication level and your message to get chiropractic to more people and share the love with other chiropractors already in the profession, how are you taking that with New Zealand and what is the ultimate goal with New Zealand? Is it currently to grow that college and beyond?
Yeah, the intention with New Zealand is to grow enrollment. We are not looking to be the biggest, we're looking to be the best. We don't take every student that applies. So there's a weeding out process because not every student is looking for what we have to offer. The flip side of that, there are chiropractic colleges that do take every student, which there's students coming into their programs. They don't even know what chiropractic is. They just see the YouTube videos of the white towel pulling on the neck. And I can't get into medical school because I have a 2.9 GPA. So I might as well do this. And I see these students at the orientation at different chiropractic colleges that will remain nameless. And when the question is asked, okay, great. So you're in your orientation here on Friday and school starts on Monday. Show of hands, how many of you have ever been to a chiropractor and been adjusted? I've been in these orientation classes where less than a third hands go up. What does that mean? They've never been to a chiropractor. They've never been adjusted. They've never shadowed. They only know it because what they've seen online, and they get accepted into the program, and oftentimes they don't make it all the way through to the end. Now, the other side of that coin is okay, and somewhere along the line in that program, the light bulb goes off and they become an amazing chiropractor. I think it's important for those students, though, to come in having been adjusted to know what subluxation is. So it's to grow the enrollment, it's to expand our reach globally in other areas of the world, potentially through satellite campuses, which is highly likely. And I don't know if you ask me what my personal goal or mission is with my speaking and with my writing and with my recruitment and getting students into chiropractic college. However, I would not be surprised if that voice comes to me again someday that came to me in Tony's office and that came to me in practice and said it's time to start building colleges instead of practices. That comes to me again, maybe in the not too distant future, and says, maybe now it's time for you to entertain stepping out front in a leadership position and role in a chiropractic college to take it to the next level. That's not up to me to decide. The universe has a grand plan, and what it wants me to do, it lets me know. I ask every day, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to who?
Yeah.
I'm at your service.
Excellent. Excellent. So who pours into you, David? You know, you're obviously your mission is to pour into others, to inspire, you know, young students to choose a chiropractic career, especially if they're young students wanting to go to New Zealand, obviously, and then get on stage and inspire other chiropractors to love the mission and love the principle. But who pours into you? Who fills your cup?
So my black Labradoodle Lucy, who's
Hmm.
right here in her dog bed, she pours into me. She's also a conduit, you know, when I'm typing in these books. And I also have a novel that's out. I didn't bring it and put it up here on the screen, but this novel is about a main character that's going in search of his purpose and truth. And it started out to be one novel that turned into a series of 5 novels. All of them are written. One of them is out. It's called Train of Transformation. Train, like a choo-choo train, Train of Transformation. Also on Amazon. She pours into me. And then when I go into the forest on long hikes with her, the trees pour into me. When I go to the river, when I'm outdoors, nature pours into me. And then there's also some key people in my life and teachers and mentors. I've had, for example, I studied for many years with Eckhart Tolle, the great spiritual teacher. So I have many mentors, and I was fortunate enough to have a 15-year experience with an amazing spiritual teacher that I'm still in touch with, not so much face to face anymore, but energetically. And if it's meant to be that we all get back together again as a group, we do. And then I also have companionship in a partner, in a female partner. We spend great time together, and I have 3 daughters. My oldest just turned 30 2 days ago on the 19th. She's a chiropractor. My middle child is in chiropractic college currently, and then my youngest is in between. She graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in psychology, and she wants to further that to become a psychologist, a counselor, whatever those terms are. And yeah, so they pour into me too. They're part of my legacy.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you, big picture goals. What ultimately, if you could wave a magic wand and make whatever happened that you really felt in your heart that you wanted to happen, what would that be and where would that take you?
In terms of career.
Career, life, whatever that might be. Where do you feel best that you could serve your purpose and be fulfilled at the same time?
So I know that I could probably best serve my purpose continuing to bring students into chiropractic college. Whether, again, that changes form from an external affairs position covering all of North America for New Zealand into a vice president position and ultimately a presidential position in a chiropractic college where I could speak from the stage, continue to offer my books and write more books. And as a chiropractic college president, my understanding is that they have a great responsibility in the enrollment and growing a healthy enrollment of the student body. And I would welcome that opportunity at the right place at the right time. And that, again, is something that I sense is the timing and universally driven versus me pushing for that to happen. I am a humble servant in this chiropractic profession to continue to find the next chiropractor, to continue to write more books, to continue to meet some of the most amazing people, such as yourself, that I meet on the road at these chiropractic conferences, at these chiropractic career talks that we host for the New Zealand College. And let me share with everybody that we're having our first ever pop-up Lyceum April 18th in Calgary for the New Zealand College of Chiropractic for Canada. And anybody that's interested in that, please get in touch with me. I will share my email address when you want me to. But ultimately, I'm staying in this profession until I'm not able to do anything anymore. I never have considered myself since September of 1996 working a day in my life. I've gone to play every day and I'll continue to go and play until I'm not able to stand and speak anymore for this profession that is the only profession that I know of that has the ability to transform lives by removing interference from the nervous system so that person can be at their optimum levels of performance. Yeah.
Incredible. That's fantastic, David. So I'd like to, in the last few minutes that we have here, there's a few questions I have in my mind, but I think I'd like to strategically ask you this. And in your position, I mean, having been involved in many different positions through chiropractic and growing chiropractic colleges, big picture in our profession, what is the biggest thing that's holding us back as a profession?
The chiropractors and the education out of the colleges. And a lot of chiropractors, because of their lack of self-worth and understanding of the power that resides within them, resort to a lot of other things to do in their clinics to make money, which dilutes the power that chiropractic has and the power that chiropractor has to go out into their community to educate their community to the benefit of subluxation removal. And as you alluded to earlier, there's chiropractic colleges that you can go to that you can come out and you don't even know how to adjust. So the chiropractors, and I'm not bad mouthing our profession, what I'm inviting the chiropractors to do, and I do this from the stage too, when I talk about you didn't come here to shrink, you came here to shine, you didn't come here to subordinate. You came here to stand on the shoulders of the greats that came before us to take chiropractic to its rightful place, which is at the forefront of, dare I say, healthcare. And when I say healthcare, it's true health, not sickness and disease care, which is the healthcare system. And when I'm talking about the chiropractic educational system, which there really isn't one, it's separate and distinct, not for profit chiropractic colleges. There's no system. The education can be a lot better all around when it comes to teaching students about what chiropractic is, about how to adjust and become master adjusters. I got adjusted in British Columbia by a New Zealand graduate at KelJam. And I don't remember the last time I had a chiropractic adjustment like that. It totally lit and opened me up. That's what every chiropractic college ought to be teaching. Every chiropractor that's looking for an associate ought to be able to feel comfortable and confident knowing that whatever college that associate, that graduate, soon to be associate, went to, they're going to adjust the same. It's a crime that students are coming out of chiropractic college not knowing how to adjust, not understanding, and therefore being able to explain the subluxation, the effects of the subluxation, the adjustment, the removal of the interference, the above, down, inside, out, safety pin cycle. So, that we have a lot of work to do, and it comes from chiropractors and it comes from the chiropractic institutions. There, as Guy Reekman says, there's a lot of work to be done. We still have a lot of work to do. Instead of thinking about the negative parts of what's happening about the chiropractic colleges and about our profession, let's think about the promise of chiropractic. Let's think about collectively what we can do, like this podcast, the effects and the ripple effects of this podcast, the ripple effect of an adjustment that one person receives, and the effect that that has on everybody they come into contact with that day. That's why we see people and check for subluxation each week, not because they're in pain, because they're better off with no interference in their nervous system. And then what does that do to the community? What does that do to the entire city? What does that do to that province? What does that do to the country of Canada? What does it do to the entire planet? And then once we have enough people getting adjusted and interference is removed on the planet, what will that do then? The ripple effect to the next planet, right? So this is a universal galactic thing that we're working with. That's the
This is the big,
message that I want to bring to our profession from the stage and wherever else the universe puts me.
yeah, and this is the big idea that BJ talked about, so well said. So I want to ask you, so just as we close up here, I'd like to ask you, what is, going back even to when you were very young, what is the best advice that you ever received that still has an effect on you and your decision making in your direction now?
Number one, get in touch with what your relationship with time is. Start acting with a sense of urgency. If there's something that you want to do, don't put it off. Get to it. Start the process. Because time is the elephant in every room. Everybody thinks that they have an unlimited amount of it. A lot of people don't think that they're going to pass away. They're going to live forever. Guess what? I'm here to tell you that our life is a blip on this radar screen. We're here and then we're gone just as quickly. So therefore, if there's something that you want to do, start the process, and also create small wins every day. Create a small win for yourself. If you want to start walking, if you need to get up off the couch, if you want more patience, just set a little create a new habit. Do things a little bit differently that you did the day before. Create small wins. And then when you get that win, celebrate. It's very important that you celebrate. One more thing. My mom would always say, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. As we get older, start minimizing distractions. Minimize your distractions and surround yourself with people that you love to do things with, and go do those things that you love to do with them. And there's so much more. We'll talk more about it. Come, I'm going to bring these things and I'm going to elaborate on them from the stage at CNAC in Toronto, at Pure and Powerful in Ontario, and those of you that are in Vancouver or BC, wherever you are, from Big Lux, and we'll just have a good time. We'll break it down. I want to help all of you expand your minds, expand your practices, and expand your life.
David, fantastic. Thank you so much. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
So on Instagram, it's DR for Dr. David Scheiner on Instagram. Facebook is David Scheiner. There's a few of us out there, but just you'll find my face on Facebook. And then if anybody wants to text me, if you want to get in touch, give you my cell phone number. It's 480-747-7757, 480-747-7757. And email address is my first initial, Scheiner, Scheiner, number 8 at gmail.com.
Awesome. And we'll include all those details in the chat below. So, David, I can't thank you enough for doing this. Very inspiring. I love your passion. It comes through with the way you talk. It just comes through so genuine, and can't wait for our next meeting. And I will definitely see you at Pure and Powerful and at CNAC later this year in Toronto.
Look forward to it. It'll be so great to embrace. Big hug. Thanks
Thank
for
you
the
so
opportunity.
Thank you so much, my friend.